What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit late. You see, Spider, SP//DR, I'm going to call it Spider just because it's super annoying to actually say it out loud, but we all know what I mean now, cool? Excellent. While I was away this weekend, I was at the European International Championships for Pokemon. I was on the casting team, I had a lot of fun, and they revealed Spider. And this makes me very sad. Well, very happy because it looks awesome. Very sad because I wasn't there to cover it on the day. Shout out to everyone that messaged me asking where the video was, and even the people that were posting in the Facebook group. I was very, very busy, but I'm back now, ladies and gentlemen, and let's talk about Spider. Now, this again is from that Spider-Verse crossover event, which featured quite heavily in Sinister Motives. There was a bunch from there. And Spider-Ham, which we saw the other day. This is a really fun, if you've not read that arc, please go read it. It's not the same as the animated movie, go and read it, it's awesome. But that's why Penny Parker actually came in. Edge of Spider-Verse was the very first time we saw Penny Parker, and now we get her here. But it's a super confusing double hero card, so let's have a gander. So Penny Parker's got a recovery of 4, which is quite nice. Hit points of 14, which is quite nice. And hand size of 4, which is garbage. Hand size of 4 in alter ego mode is horrendously low. But what happens is that during setup, you put the spider suit into play inactive side face up. So nothing really happens, just kind of sitting there as an inactive support, nothing's going on. But what you can do is exhaust that suit as an alter ego action and draw 2 cards. So once again, we do see a draw engine on alter ego. We've seen this with a whole bunch of heroes, but obviously when you're starting with a hand size of 4, having that drawing on the alter ego becomes even more important than it might be usually. But when you flip to hero mode, you flip both cards. So Penny Parker becomes Spider, and Spider Doctor Suit becomes Spider Doctor Suit active. Because of course Penny has your mech Spider, so essentially what happens is Penny goes from an alter ego to a pilot, and the suit goes from sitting there inactive to being active. And what happens is that you attach this card as an interface card to your Spider Suit, and then you end up with your Spider Suit. Forward of 2, attack of 2, defense of 2, all very standard. Hit points of 14 is very high. Hand size of 3 is terrible. Absolutely terrible. But there's a reason for it. Because you see, the skill on Spider Suit, exhaust an interface upgrade you control, generate that upgrade's resources. So you already start off with the interface pilot card, and that can be exhausted to generate an any type resource. And you'll notice that there's no once per round, once per phase, any of that garbage. So this can be done as much as you want. There are 5 interface cards in total. And what you are able to do, if you get them all into play, and if you so wish, is exhaust all of them and generate all the resources. And that's clearly a very good thing. And this is going to impact the way you play this, because to be perfectly clear, you've got a hand size of 3 in hero mode, hand size of 4 in alter ego mode. You do have that skill that lets you draw 2 cards, which is nice, but you're going to have a low hand size. So essentially you play the cards in hand, and you generate resources not by using the cards in hand, but by using these interface cards. So we should probably look at the other interface cards. That seems to make sense. So what we've got is Host Spider, a free cost upgrade, and you can exhaust it to ready your Spider Suit. Now I should mention all of these have skills you can use, so the choice essentially becomes, do you exhaust it to activate the Spider Suit's ability to gain resources, or do you exhaust it to actually use a skill written on the card? And the answer obviously is, well, it depends on what's going on in the game. And then we've got a trio of cards that make up a very nice trio. Psychic Link is a 2-cost upgrade that lets you exhaust it to get +2 thwart. Speed Metal Ally is a 1-cost upgrade that lets you exhaust it to gain 2 defense, obviously when you're defending. And then we've got Web Fluid Compressor, a 2-cost upgrade that lets you exhaust it to gain +2 attack when attacking. Probably could have seen them coming. So what we've got there is 5 total interface cards, all of which can end up just gaining you these resources or using the skills on them. But one of the things you have to do as you're playing is compensate for your low hand size, and that means that you cannot always just use, at least I assume, I've not actually played the deck obviously, but it seems very much like you are going to have to make those decisions. You can't just always use the skills on these interfaces, because you've actually got to take advantage of the resources using your spider suit. Cool? Excellent. So looking at some of Spider's other cards here, you've got Aunt May and Uncle Ben. A 1-cost support lets you exhaust it and discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Free if you're in alter ego form. And each Spider card discarded this way is added to your hand. So that is the 15 non-identity cards that have the logo. So you see in the bottom right hand corner, you've got the suit's face. Those are the cards that can be gained here. Those specific Spider cards 1 to 17. Or the 1 and 2 are obviously your identity cards. So it's risky. You might not hit what you want, but you might. You've then got All Systems Go, which is phenomenal. It's a 1-cost event, and you either ready each interface upgrade you control, or search your deck and discard pile for an interface upgrade of your choice and add it to your hand. So you're basically either using it to search out the interface you particularly want, or using it to ready all of them, so you either exhaust them using the skills or you exhaust them generating resources, then you ready them using this. That is awesome. Rapid Deployment is a 2-cost event, lets you remove free threat from a scheme, but if you pay for this card using a resource generated by the sync ratio ability, i.e. exhausting your interface to gain resources, you remove free threat from a scheme. That is a lot of threat removed for 2 cost. Web Trap is a hero action attack, deal 5 damage to an enemy, but if you pay for this card using that sync ratio ability, you also get a stun. So it's not just that you can generate these resources by exhausting these interface cards, it's that cards like Rapid Deployment and Web Trap actually give you advantages for doing so. And then we've got the thematically amazing Ejection Protocol. It's a 0-cost support, and you basically play it as soon as you draw into it and leave it there until you need it. You discard it, you exhaust each interface upgrade you control, so you don't get to use any of them this turn. Set your hit point dial to 6. Give your identity a tough status card, and flip to alter ego form. And that is clearly the card game equivalent of ejecting from your mech. You go to 6 hit points, much lower because you are Penny, not the suit. Although you could go from 1 up to 6 here, which would be great. You get a tough status card. You flip to alter ego mode, but you've got to exhaust the interface upgrades because, of course, you can't use them when you're not in the suit. Thematically, this card is amazing. Now, you come out of the box here as a protection deck, and we've got some really nice, suitable allies, which if you've read the comics, you will remember. So, Daredevil is a 2-cost free health ally. The good news is, well, the health, the stats aren't great other than that. 2 thwart, but you've got to take 2 damage, and only 1 attack taking 1 damage. But after Daredevil defends against an attack, you move 1 damage from him to the attacking enemy. So, essentially, I'm assuming a lot of you do this as well. As soon as your allies are down to 1 hit point remaining, you use them to defend so you can stop an attack. Well, Daredevil will pop a damage over as he does it. That sounds good to me. We've then got another ally coming in with protection, Spider-Man Noir. 3 cost, 3 health. Now, the attack and thwart are X, taking 1 damage. But essentially, after you resolve a treachery, assuming you control another Web Warrior card, you can attach that treachery face down to Spider-Man Noir, up to a maximum of 3, and that becomes your thwarted attack. So if you can afford to leave Spider-Man Noir in play for a couple of turns, you can essentially attach 3 treachery cards to him, and then you've got 3 thwart or 3 attack, taking 1 damage each. That is beautiful. Does take a bit of setup to get working though. We've also got Whip Whip. A hero action, deal 1 damage to a web warrior character you control. Not ideal, but place 2 stunned status cards on up to 2 enemies. Yes, that's brilliant. Spider Tingle is a 1-cost upgrade. When you would reveal an encounter card, deal a damage to a web warrior character you control. If that card is a treachery, cancel its when revealed effects and discard Spider Tingle. Of course, you put the upgrade into play and you're always going to get to use the upgrade because it doesn't get discarded until it's a treachery card. But you have to deal the damage and then reveal the card. It's when you would reveal a card, deal a damage. So that means that you could deal a damage and then it's not a treachery card, you've dealt a damage for nothing. That could come back to bite you. And then we've got a basic card here, Spider-Man Otto Octavius. This, of course, is the superior Spider-Man from the comics. Again, just go and read Spider-Verse and this will all make way more sense. But essentially, this is a version of Otto Octavius as Spider-Man who comes in during the whole Spider-Verse event. And I reread it a couple of weeks ago. I cannot say this enough. Go and reread it. Subscribe to Marvel Unlimited. Go and find it on Amazon. There's omnibuses available. It's such a good run. Now, you can only play if you control a Web Warrior card. You've got 1 thwart, 2 attack, but you take 2 back, so that's not good. And your 2 health, 2 cost, so the stats do not impress me. But after you play Spider-Man from your hand, ready an upgrade you control, and if that upgrade has the tech trait, draw a card, which essentially makes it a 1-cost card, and you get to ready an upgrade, which makes me like Spider-Man so much more. And remember, this is Otto Octavius, so yes, it can be on the board at the same time as Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man Peter Parker and any others you might have. We can have a look at the protection card Force Field Generator, 6 energy counters, maximum 1 per player, and when you would take any amount of damage, remove that many damage counters from here, and for each one removed, prevent 1 damage. So, if the villain was going to be doing 4 damage, you remove 4 counters, and then you've got 2 left on there to prevent 2 damage again in the future. As a protection card, is pretty good. And then repurpose the 0-cost event, discard a tech upgrade you control, ready your hero and choose thwart, attack, or defense. Until the end of the round, your hero gets plus X to the chosen power, where X is equal to that upgrade's printed cost, i.e. discard a 2-cost upgrade, ready your hero, and then you can add 2 to thwart, attack, or defense. It's not ideal because you've got to discard the tech upgrade, but it's a 0-cost event, and you get to boost one of your skills for the turn. That's going to be pretty gosh darn nice. And then we've got Unshakable, a 1-cost upgrade. You can only play it if your identity has at least 14 printed hit points, but remember you do. Your identity gains Steady, which is to say 2 status cards of the same type have to be used to stun or confuse you, which is nice. So that's SP//DR, but we've also got that encounter set. Remember, nowadays all the hero packs come with a new encounter set, and this time it is the Sinister Six from Penny's World, which is amazing. Now, we haven't been shown all of them, so I'm not going to give away the ones we haven't been shown, but we've got Sandman, 1 scheme, 1 attack, 7 health. But after Sandman takes any amount of damage from an attack, discard the top 7 cards of the encounter deck. As a side note, thematically kind of similar to the one that's in Sinister Motives. Now, this is very, very interesting because it basically, oh, and also it does that as a boost card as well. But it basically means you've got to try and one-hit Sandman. Because remember, if the encounter deck runs out of cards, you get an acceleration token. So more encounter cards every turn. You do not want to be discarding the top 7 cards of the encounter deck more than once. So you have got to try and get a one-hit KO here. Bombshell has 2 scheme, 3 attack, 4 health. And Bombshell's damage gets divided among each character as evenly as possible. As a boost, it deals 1 indirect damage to each player, and you exhaust each character damage this way. That is super. Both of these so far have had very harsh boost skills. Hobgoblin has 2 scheme, 2 attack, 5 health, but when Hobgoblin would attack you, you discard cards on the top of the encounter deck equal to Hobgoblin's attack, and you take 1 indirect damage for each boost icon discarded this way, which is harsh. And then Iron Spider's got 2 scheme, 2 attack, 6 health, with guard, and patrol, and retaliate 1, and toughness, and the attacks gain overkill. That is ridiculous. And then we've got the side scheme Grand Larceny. Threat cannot be removed from the scheme while a criminal minion is in play. And obviously all the 4 we've seen of the 6 here have criminal, and I'm willing to bet the last 2 do as well. Now, we don't have a release date for this. We're told it's going to be summer. I'm just going out on a limb here and it's saying it's going to be July. Because we know that Nova and Ironheart are coming in May. We know we're getting them 2 at a time now. So I would assume we'd get none in June. But then Spider-Ham and SP//DR would be coming along in July. Not confirmed, but that to me seems like a sensible prediction. I am delighted. This one looks really fun. They all look like... I know I say this every time a new set is released, but they just keep looking more fun as time goes by. What can you do about it? But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Weiss. That's where we talk about a whole bunch of card games like Marvel Champions and a bunch of others. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.